Hey guys, it's Cory from CoryBakerFilmmaker.com, and I just saw Den of Thieves, written and directed by Christian Gudegast, with additional story by Paul Scheuring. Great news for those people who are tired of me going to see movies at Regal LA Live. I checked out a new theater this week. We went to the Downey Studio Movie Grill in Downey, California. The impression that I got when I first got the tickets was that this was going to be very much like an Alamo Drafthouse style theater where you would have in-seat dining and comfortable reclining chairs, and you get the little place in front of you for your food and drink. And that's certainly in the plans. They're updating the theater right now, so there's some screens that have the updated chairs, but they have not yet gone into the in-seat dining service. So this theater, as of recording, is very much in flux. I imagine by the summer they will have updated the whole thing and they'll be ready to go with their new plan. But it was a cool enough place to go see a movie, and especially having a free parking lot right there makes it so much easier. We go to Regal LA Live a lot because it's the closest theater, but it's also annoying because unless we think about it early enough, we can't walk there. We have to take an Uber, and then we got to Uber back, or we have to pay for parking. There's no free parking anywhere around LA Live, but for, a 15-minute drive down to Downey and to have a free parking lot, that makes life a lot easier. And I really enjoyed the actual look of this theater. Pictures are being shown up here of what it was like inside the theater, and I dig the big mural, even though there was no love for sound on it. And it's just a cool little spot that I imagine is going to get cooler once the full changeover is in effect. On to Den of Thieves. This movie is basically set up for you in the first couple seconds of the movie, where they just put up on the frame that every single year there's so many bank robberies in LA. It's the bank robbery capital of the world, and we're going to watch a movie about an elaborate bank robbery, which is fine. It's not a movie I haven't seen before. This one specifically sets up with somebody had robbed a empty bank truck, like an empty rolling vault. So police, led by Gerard Butler, show up at the scene the next day, see all the dead bodies, see all the violence, see all the carnage, and wonder aloud why they robbed a bank truck that had no money in it. Like, what was the purpose of this? And from that moment on, we pretty much know exactly what is going to happen. They're going to use that truck to do a larger heist, and that larger heist is at the Federal Reserve building in LA. The whole movie is basically just working up to the point where eventually they break into the Federal Reserve, and whether or not they are successful or not, and the criminal enterprise and who's involved, and how the police can get into the actual gang itself, which is responsible for all these bank robberies. For me, this movie really boils down to two main points. First of all, I want to give huge attaboys to O'Shea Jackson Jr. and Pablo Schreiber. I've seen Shea Jackson Jr. in a couple things now. I saw him in obviously Straight Outta Compton, where he was playing his father, and also in Ingrid Goes West, which I really fucking enjoyed, and I thought he was fantastic in it, and he was really good in this again. He has a wonderful charisma that carries itself very well on screen, and I'm excited to see what comes next for him, like what kind of roles he takes and what kind of things he does going forward, because I think he's showing a lot of promise as a great young talented male actor, and we really are so low on those at the moment. And then Pablo Schreiber, who was Nicky Sabatka in The Wire. He's been in a whole bunch of things, but he just turned it on for this fucking film. He was fantastic. I enjoyed his performance the whole time, and it was one of those great, he definitely played his hand hard, but he was subtle too at the same time. It was a wonderful mix with all these great little choices, which I thoroughly enjoyed, and I wish that he got more chances to do this sort of thing, and hopefully people see him sort of in more of a leading role in this movie and give him more opportunities to do that sort of thing in the future, because I thought he was really fantastic. On the other side, there was a lot of phoning it in that were going on, especially from Gerard Butler and 50 Cent. Neither one of them looked like they wanted to be in this movie at all. Like it was all... They weren't given a lot to work with. Their characters were outrageously thin. You didn't care about anything that happened to them. I kind of hoped that Gerard Butler would die in this movie. To be honest, I was rooting for the bank robbers more than I was. I mean, like, I'm never really rooting for the cops, but he was such a old stereotype of a police officer who doesn't give a shit, and I'm fine if that's the character you want to play, but you gotta give me a little bit more. You can't just say. You can't just play off the character as this is a cop who doesn't give a shit, because I need more to go off of than that. And then 50 Cent, like, there was a moment at one point where his daughter is going off to prom with some kid, and he drags the kid into the garage, and his whole gang is there, and they're all being intimidating. And I'm sure there's fathers with daughters who saw that and was just like, yeah, right on. I wish I could have a gang of street toughs intimidate some kid. But, I mean, it was a fleeting whatever moment, and it was really the only thing that I enjoyed from 50 the whole time. Like, it was just... I don't know. I don't understand why you would have 50 Cent in this role unless you thought he was going to bring something that almost any other actor could have done. I just it didn't make any sense to me. And here's where I stand, I think, with action movies like this, and like heist movies and other popcorn fare. I mean, obviously this is a Fast and the Furious rule contender, but to me there was a new line drawn when John Wick was released. That was a movie that had no plot, really, to speak. There's no setting up characters. There's no anything like that. It's just straight up, like, John Wick is angry and John Wick is going to get revenge. Great. We set up the whole universe there. But then what you do with it once you have the very basis of a plot established is you hit us with all this pulse-pounding action and make it's excitement and craziness, and the latitude you get to have with framing and shots and the musical nature of how action can play out on screen. And it's like, people who've made action movies since John Wick was released have just been oblivious to the fact that a new revolution started in action. Like, more movies should be like John Wick and less movies should be like Den of Thieves, because it just doesn't add up. It's really foolish, to be honest. Sure, it's fun, it's enjoyable, but it's not. Nobody's gonna remember Den of Thieves later this year. People are gonna go, "Wow, that was released in 2018." It's fucking stupid. There's no point in talking about what's new and special about Den of Thieves, because it's just the same old movie you've seen 1,000 times already. Off to the leaderboard. This is the first time I have been to the Downey Movie Studio Grill, and like I said up front, like I think it's a really cool spot. I'm really looking forward to what it looks like when they finish doing all the changeover from whatever the theater was before to the Studio Movie Grill concept, because it has that Alamo feel to it when it's going to be all done, and I'm excited to see what that looks like. onto the leaderboard. As far as an actual movie, like giving a straight up rank, I would give Den of Thieves a 5-1. And on
Drop. Too fast. Drop. Too furious. I'm too fast for y'all, man.
the Fast and the Furious adjusted scale, I'd give this movie a 6-1. I mean, it was fine. I would not recommend people go to the theater and spend money on it. I would much rather just wait for it to show up on a streaming service of some kind, or if you want to get it from Redbox, like $1. If you have Movie Pass, you can go see it. You don't feel like you've wasted time by going to see it. It's just not. It's the same movie you've seen so many times before, and I just don't. I don't see the purpose of spending a lot of time talking about something that will be forgotten about within a week or two. But that is it for me. If you want more of myself, you can go to Cory at CoryBakerFilmmaker.com. You can also like my Facebook page, facebook.com/CoryBakerFilm, and follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat at LegendCB5. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you disagree with my takes, you can comment down below. I'll be checking in to make additional thoughts on this if people comment feverishly enough. And if you want to pass this along to somebody else, by all means, share it. That's how this shit grows, and subscribing and all that good stuff. Now, if you excuse me, I have to plan an elaborate heist.